This weekend is going to be insane with boxing. It starts going off of Sydney, Australia's time because my Saturday is your Friday, your Saturday is my Sunday, and my Monday is your Sunday. We have big fights starting Saturday morning, Sunday, and Monday. So 72 straight hours of, I'm talking like bangers, world title fights, sort of like title eliminators. There's awesome fights between prospects, awesome fights between contenders. A guy no one's even talked about all week, Francois Scarborough's fighting. He's one of my favorite guys who fights under the Pro Box banner. So that Pro Box card is great. We're featuring the Starling Castillo fight versus Flores. There is just a slew, almost like a, what's that old phrase? A waste of spoils. There's so much boxing to talk about. Guys, before we get into the nitty gritty, I'm going to stay on. I've been doing, we've been going over an hour with every live stream this week, so I'll stay on as long as it's cooking. And if you want to join our Discord, we finally broke 350 JSB insiders. That link is pinned in the comment section below. Join on YouTube, become a JSB insider on YouTube, get a membership. It helps with interaction with myself on social media and within the live streams. Whichever way you join, whether on YouTube or Patreon, you get access to the Discord. The Discord is a community, and within that community, you'll find sharp bettors, professional bettors. You'll find opportunities. We have it broken up within every pro sport. So it's not just boxing and MMA. And click that link that's pinned right there to find out more. And I'm going to just get into it and start taking your questions. Mike from Melbourne. What's up, Mike? How are you? Ozzy. What's up, Johnny? You're going to tape Serhi and Butayev, or I've done both. Believe it or not, I've done both. I haven't uploaded any videos yet. 4 days into this week, I've already uploaded 5 videos. So for the last 4 weeks, I was only doing 1 or 2 Stats Don't Lie videos a week. All things considered, the holidays and not a lot of big time matchups. Already 4 days in, I've already uploaded 5. So that is already over 20 hours of work for me. I've personally taped Boacek and Butayev, and I have my picks for that fight. I've personally taped Bank and Skull, and I have my picks for that fight. Will I be uploading a Stats Don't Lie video for both fights? Probably not. I don't know if I have time. I have to get to, but you could ask me who I'm taking, and I could go over what I've seen in the tape. So let's talk about something real quick. If you're new to my channel, you want to watch my breakdown and predictions, go to my playlist, Fight Predictions. You'll find the Stats Don't Lie videos. I've done 5 so far this week. We've done Bakar Murtazawa versus Josh Kelly. Carlos Adames versus Ammo. Keyshawn Davis versus Jermaine Ortiz. Xander Zayas versus Abbas Baraou, which I uploaded about 2 hours ago. And Teofimolopez versus Shakur. That's already 5. I want to get to Ryo. And then I have, guys, there's 3 different levels of membership. Level 1 gets you in the door. Level 1 is the base level membership. Level 2 is a couple dollars more. The difference is with level 2, you get to request a video every month. So I do have a level 2 request that I'll be uploading next. It's kind of a fight that no one's really talking about, but it's a request from Chilltown Boxing. So shout out to one of our level 2 members, Chilltown Boxing. His request is coming up next, and that's a fight between where is it? It's in my notes. I've been watching as much tape as I can. Did they take it off? Yuri Cedeno versus Itundi William. So that's the next Stats Don't Lie video. Yuri Cedeno versus Itundi William. That'll be up next. And then I want to do Shushu Carrington versus Castro. So once we get past the Yuri Cedeno fight, that's 6 uploads. And then the 7th one will probably be Ryo Valenzuela. The 8th one will probably be Shushu Carrington. All right, so as you guys are tapping in, let me know what's up. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe. We could talk about any of these fights, though. And if you want to stay there, Let me see who else is tapping in. We'll go back to that. What's up, David Eister? Good to see you back on the live streams, baby. I miss you. David Eister was one of the OGs when I first started streaming, which was only in maybe May. I think I started live streaming in May and then started the Discord in August. And David was, always on the live. So appreciate seeing you again. I don't know. You think you're betting the money line for Seattle, England? Super Bowl talk. We're going to talk about that. Let's get past this weekend, David, and I'll talk football with you. I'll talk with you. My girlfriend always yells at me. I'll talk football with you. There's a song that I've been listening to a lot. It's an old school Casey and JoJo song. It wasn't one of their hits. And the way the hook goes, he sings it. He pronounces. He doesn't say with you. He says with you. Falling in love with you. And so I think that's kind of trickled into my vernacular. Christina's like, it's not with you, it's with you. You're supposed to be a writer. I'm like, all right, relax. Don't take life too seriously. I mean, after all, Darnold, David, we will do a football chat. Trust me on it. Even if it's just me and you on Instagram, we'll go back and forth. We got to keep this boxing. Even though the Super Bowl is coming up. What's up, Rage and Ghazi? Tyson Fury's back April 11th. I think it's a good matchup for him. I think he put his hand up for Makhmoudayev. We last saw Dave Allen versus the big fella, the big giant, and I think it's a good fight for Tyson Fury to get his feet wet once again and make one more run. And this is why boxing's the best sport on earth. It's like you never know when it's really over. You know what I mean? Betting the house on Adamas. Yes, me too, baby Kobe. I'll be taking your, we're not even 10 minutes in, so I'll keep saying what's up and then we'll pull up the odds. But yeah, I did my breakdown of Adamas. Nothing against ammo. I just think we're going to see levels. And I think sometimes with a fighter's career, a fighter's potential, how a fighter's sort of trajectory, I said this in my breakdown. If you would have told me Ammo Williams would be fighting for a full world title, I wouldn't have believed you. You know what I'm saying? So kudos to him, especially having the fight against Hamza end the way it ended. And I thought he was in a tough fight against Patrice Volney. Patrice isn't a household name, but those in the boxing world knows that Patrice is a tricky customer to deal with. That fight was really close. So yeah, he's fighting for a full world title. I really rate Bronco. I think Carlos Adames is legit. You're looking at a lifelong boxer here, a guy who's skilled, a guy who can fight really aggressive if he wants to, a guy who has good defense. He does everything really well. I think he showed his levels by dominating Hamza Shiraz in the second half of that fight. And thank God they didn't take his belt from him. They called it a draw, but it wasn't a draw. Anyone who watched that fight, you guys know that wasn't a draw. Skeezy, Perth in the house, checking in. JSI, we still good. What's up, EV44 ounce? Haven't seen you in a while, except we got so many fights to talk about. What fight? First, JSB Insider. One of the insiders, give me a fight to feature because I could go on. I just uploaded Baraou and Xander. We could talk about that. I know Bachram versus Josh Kelly video is doing pretty well. We could talk about my underdogs. So it'll give us a little bit of basis. Everyone's happening. What's up, baby Kobe? Enthusiastic boxing. He should have fought Guido. Ooh, you think so? I mean, Kiki handled Guido pretty convincingly. I like Guido, but I like the narrative and the storyline with Makhmoudayev a little bit better, considering he's coming off a win over a Brit too. I mean, you can make what you will of it. What's up, Elms? How do I pay for the Discord? The link is pinned here in the comment section. You sign up on YouTube through YouTube memberships, or you can sign up through Patreon. It's the same price. It's a couple bucks a month. And then I send you that access to the Discord. I'll show you what the Discord looks like real quick to give you so you can kind of understand. And this is full transparency. I only started the Discord in August. It's become my favorite part of my social media footprint, what I do. I love breaking down fights, but the community we're building in here, it's pretty awesome. So all right, so as you can see, so this is what it looks like. So on the left, as I told you before, it's not just boxing. We have a section for the boys to put their bet slips. We have a section for the winning slips, NBA basketball, American football, NHL hockey, soccer, tennis, and boxing. Let's see what the boxing boys are saying. We also have MMA and UFC. And we also have a study area. So one of my moderators, he sets up for each big fight a study area to where you vote on who do you think is going to win. I don't know many other Discords out there who are spitting out sort of data like this, because after we vote all week, we spit out what the Discord is saying. Like, all right, 60% likes Castillo on the money line, 70, that sort of, and we do that for every fight. That's another value there. But I'm going to pull up the odds real quick. This is a fight. And that link is pinned, though, Alms. The links are also on my YouTube channel. Okay, this is Scarborough. Scarborough, and we got a new member. Welcome. Let's welcome El Mems to the team squad, new JSB Insider. So I will send you the link to the Discord. And then if you have any questions from there, just message me and I'll help you out. Appreciate the support. Where are all the boys? Everyone's tapping in. David Eister, come, come and talk to me. And I got to renew my membership. Yeah, you can renew it right here too, bro. Just click on the link. It'll renew. And you guys know I'm lenient with the renewal of memberships. I do have a moderator who has kicked people out. He runs a really tight ship, but I trust you guys to renew. Okay, let's talk about this. I don't want to bet on Zayas versus Baraou. I feel like it could be an upset. We haven't seen much of Zayas versus his own level. Okay, so the reason why I want to talk about this is because I just taped it, I just uploaded it, and this was my hesitation as well. We have to remember, Abbas Baraou going into the Yenis Tellez fight was a 5-6-1 underdog. Everybody was expecting Tellez to win that fight, and everybody thought Tellez would be up next. What we saw was a guy in Abbas Baraou doesn't have his only loss was 6 years ago to a prime Jack Kolke, the same Jack Kolke who went life and death with Bakram Murtazayev and was up on one of the judges' scorecards in the 11th until Bakram stopped him. And so we know how that story plays out with Abbas Baraou against Tellez. This is a pressure front forwards fighter. The thing that I feel Abbas Baraou does really well is his combination punching in the pocket. Okay, so we have to address that. That's going to be the game plan. Xander Zayas, what he does really well, he does a lot of things really well. He's at his best when he's controlling range, when he's using his jab. He can fight you from the outside or on the inside, but he kind of is a little bit more comfortable at jab range, right? So the game within the game is who's going to be able to control distance and who's going to be able to make each other fight their own fight, right? So having talked to some of the people in my network, a couple of my close mates who are really switched on with boxing, I told them, I was like, on paper, this is like a 70-30, 60-40 fight with the odds because Baraou's like plus 240. I was like, I think this is a 50-50 fight. And one of my buddies who's a former pro boxer, he was like, the reason why it's not a 50-50 fight is because you have to take into consideration the politics of boxing. It's in Puerto Rico. It's a top-ranked card. We know who the top-ranked guy is. Zayas is the champion, and he really rates Xander, and I do as well. I think Xander is one of these guys. He doesn't do one thing exceptionally well. He doesn't have that one-punch knockout power. He's not the fastest guy. He's not the most explosive guy. But in boxing, when you put everything together, you mix that with a fight IQ, and you have Xander Zayas, and I feel the way he handled Chino Garcia was the guy going into the Charles Conwell fight as a 4-1 dog. It was supposed to be Charles Conwell versus Xander Zayas. Conwell got upset, and in that we saw a real veteran in Chino. Chino was able to fight Conwell off the ropes, pretty much keep him off the ropes and counter him the whole time, and we really got to see the limited offensive arsenal in Conwell, right? So going into the Xander fight, there were questions that, as a 22-year-old at the time, he just turned 23, I was saying, you know what, Xander's going to have to answer a lot of questions with Garcia. How does he handle that veteran savviness? How does he handle the pressure? How does he handle punching a guy who's comfortable with punching, backing up, that sort of thing, who will also get on his front foot? And I feel that was Xander's best performance for me. The body shot against Slomer, that body shot ripped. So Xander's body punching is nice as well. His punch placement is nice. He doesn't really force a lot of things. And so all that aside, when I put these guys side by side, it's going to come down to, can Xander control the range and distance with his jab and use the entire ring? And will Abbas Baraou be able to force Xander into that fight that he forced Tejas? I don't think so. I think Xander's a smarter fighter. I think Tejas was caught not having a plan B. And what I like to do when underdogs win, or a guy has a bad performance, like Tejas was supposed to be the guy who won and he lost, rather than calling Abbas Baraou the boogeyman, I look at Tejas and see, what did we learn about Tejas? I was like, okay, he was a bit fast-tracked. He was a bit one-dimensional. He kind of had a deer in the headlights when he was getting punched, that sort of thing. He didn't have a plan B or C. Same sort of story with Tim Tszyu versus Murtazaev. When the whole boxing world is calling Bakar Murtazaev a boogeyman because he fights 7 minutes with Tim Tszyu, I'm not calling Murtazaev a boogeyman. I'm saying I saw and learned more about Tim Tszyu than I did about Murtazaev. How much could you learn about a fighter after 7 minutes when he's only had 6 fights in 6 years? Murtazaev. What we saw in Tim, though, was a guy who fight IQ was questioned. Really, that's your game plan, to walk straight on a straight line after you were buzzed in the first exchange, not know how to clinch? His inside fighting was not as good as we thought it was, and his fight IQ was not as good as we thought it was. And, fast forward what happened since then. Murtazaev, the boogeyman, hasn't fought since. Murtazaev, the guy who's supposed to kill Tszyu, hasn't fought since. Tim Tszyu's fought 3 times. So back to the Baraou Xander. I like Xander. I like the distance. I like Xander on the money line. I like Xander on points. I like the over. I like all that stuff. Julius, we're scheduled. Guys, this is one of our JSB Insider's secret weapons. Julius, I call him a boxing sharp. He probably won't call himself a boxing sharp because that's a compliment, and he's a very modest type of dude. But Julius is a JSB Insider. He's been on my live streams before, but they've kind of been popped in. This Friday, my 11 a.m. in Sydney, will be Julius's Thursday evening. We have a planned live discussion. So the whole show is going to be Julius and myself going back and forth on our picks for this weekend. And just to give you guys a heads up, we don't agree on everything. And that's the beautiful part about our community, guys. For LMZZ3382 who just joined, and for everybody who's thinking about joining, the best part about our community is that it's not an echo chamber. You're not going to come to this channel and see all of us glazing one fighter or all of us talking trash about another. We disagree, and through that disagreement over time, we come to an agreement on, all right, we all know boxing, and we keep all that sort of casual talk out of it. You're not going to see sort of like, how you guys know how dirty boxing forums could get, racism, a bunch of low IQ chat. You're not going to find that here. Just Win, gotta love that name. What's up, Just Win? Justin Win, quadruple 5, 25 times 4. Let's go. Julius, no distance. I think so. You're not dog hunting, are you? So Julius, you think Zayas will fold? You think he's gonna fold to that pressure? I was torn. Even in my filming of my Stats Don't Lie video that's up right now, I spoke about that. I said, even up until me pressing play on my camera, I was still kind of torn on where I was going to go. And sometimes when I'm doing my flow, because if you guys watch my videos, I'm not reading off of a script. It's not like I'm giving a prediction video and I'm reading notes that I wrote. I'm talking to you guys like this. And sometimes in a 50-50 fight, after I've done film study, doesn't happen all the time. It won't be until I get to the prediction point of my Stats Don't Lie video that I know who I'm taking. That was one of these videos. I had to talk my way in and out of who I was going to go with. And then when I added up the politics of the game, the variables that are out of each fighter's control, I could see Xander winning a decision. I could also see Xander making it comfortable with his jab. I think his fight IQ is only getting better. And I think with each fight, we're watching a kid grow up in front of us. And he just turned 23. He's not, like I said, he doesn't do one thing. He doesn't blow you away in one area. He's kind of like the guy for the true purists of the sport. Technical, uses the ring, sets things up, has great angles. That's something we don't speak about a lot. When you get a guy like Baraou who pressures forward, who wants to throw those combinations in the pocket, every now and then, just out-angle him. And Xander does that really well. He's really sharp as well. You're looking at a kid who grew up in the ring. And with Baraou, though, too, you're looking at a guy who feels he was passed over his entire career. I'm a Baraou fan. Every time I lose a bet, I picked Yanis Tejas, like a lot of you guys did. And more often than not, when I get proven wrong, I become a fan of the other guy. I'm like, damn, dude, I did not think Abbas Baraou was that good. Jay Side Toys, my brother, my dad's. Oh, whole family. I didn't know that. Skeezy, Perth, Australia, we up. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Blue collar in the house. Blue collar, you got a hot take this week, don't you? Didn't you say? Did you say that something in the Discord that you got a hot take? Who's your upset of the week? King Ty. We got Xander, Keyshawn, Shakur, Bruce. Same. Let's add this up for the boys. I have this as well, guys. If you go to the, I've already given you guys 5 tickets, by the way. So five of my bets are up in the Patreon, and then they're also up on YouTube. So LMZZ3382, you could find all my bets under the members section on YouTube. So whenever you wrap this live up, go to my channel. You'll see members section. You'll see my tickets, and then you could tail my bets if you want, or you can pick and choose. You know, the last thing I ever want is to talk you guys out of your bets. Kind of use me as sort of like a with conduit, I guess. Don't always have to agree. Okay, let's see what we're getting here. We got Zayas. Look at all the fights they're giving us, boys. So Zayas, Keyshawn, Shakur, Bruce. Zayas, Keyshawn, Shakur, Bruce. Bruce. Guys, I'm about to put my aircon on real quick, dude. It's hot. It's summer. Give me a second. It's like 98 degrees. Okay. So we got... Sorry about that. I just want to see what this adds up, if it's plus money on my book. So if you're in Australia, I'm using Sportsbet, but I tend to use Bet365 for placing. Keyshawn Davis. That's a fun fight. So Keyshawn, Shakur, Bruce. Shakur. Zayas, Keyshawn, Shakur, Bruce. All right, so that 4 pays 237. I mean, yeah, that's plus 137, guys. I don't know what your unit is. I don't know what your payroll, like your bankroll is. But like even if your unit's 100, you're getting your money back plus 137. You know, I don't believe in locks. I believe in safety net bets. I think this is. I mean, Xander. I think Xander would have the. I did post a safety net parlay for the boys, and I took. So my safety net 4-legger, guys, and this is in the Patreon. It pays plus 105. Because I'm going to use the Xander Zayas method of victory for a separate ticket. And what I tend to do is I don't like if I have 6, 7 tickets working, I try to limit my risk of if one fight loses, they all lose. I try not to do that. Nothing's worse than like last weekend when everybody was hitting. We won every fight on the Zuffa card on our parlays. And then the one we were waiting on the Matchroom card was the Andy Cruz. Nothing's worse than when you have 3 tickets left and all 3 need one guy to win. And then he loses, and then you lose everything. So learning how to strategize is equally as important as learning to pick winners. So all of that depends on your bankroll, right? So my 4-leg safety net parlay, if you guys are tuning into this live, I put this up in our Patreon, and this is on the members section of YouTube. This pays plus 105, so we're still in the plus. And I've gone heavy on this. It's Josh Padley, Adames, Vosdick, and Ryo. And that's paying, yeah, plus 105. But it's, and I don't have those guys on any other parlay, though. So none of those four appear on any other parlay. So if one of those does fail, then I could just say, okay, that ticket's gone. I got 6 others. You know, nothing's worse than when you're on a roll. You've hit 9 bets in a row. You got 3 parlays left, and the last 3 are waiting on one goddamn fight, and that one guy loses, and everything loses. And so what I've learned to do over time is strategize to limit that from happening, because at the end of the day, life is about momentum. We are, what do I always say on the channel? We are archaeologists. We're digging. We're going to find our victories. Every week we have a victory. Look at the receipts. Every single week, dating back until August, we got at least one victory. We're going to find our victories. The way we find our victories is limit opportunities of failures. Don't try to kind of, you know, learn from your mistakes, basically. Rohan Polanco by stoppage. I'm not getting props on that yet, Mike Ross, but I can't wait for that Pro Box card. I'm in. The big fella's in. There he is. And have a look at the, and you can see my tickets going through, and then you can see all of the tickets. Because I put all the receipts up. Zayas might stop around 425. Mate, I like a knockdown prop, believe it or not. I like a knockdown prop on a couple fights. Moneyline Miller, Keyshawn Carrington. Yeah. Julius, did you watch tape on Miller's opponent? Oh, God. Miller's, people forget, you know, Big Baby Miller, you know, doesn't have the, I'm being diplomatic here. Doesn't have the cleanest of history, right? We know what we're getting. But he's a swarmer, his style. When you watch his style, the dude is fucking punching, leaning, not the prettiest, but these are big heavyweights. The guy he's fighting, I mean, if I'm going to get a prop, the guy he's fighting has a loss to a baseball player. Here's a little fun story for you. When Waldo Acosta, he fights in the UFC now, the same Waldo Acosta who just beat Derek Lewis. But Waldo Acosta was a Major League Baseball pitcher in the Cincinnati Reds minor league organization, right? He gets into a sort of a fight, gets kicked off the team, and then he picked up boxing. He's a Dominican, big Dominican. They're known for, you know, they're baseball players. And he had a couple boxing matches. He has a victory over Big Baby Miller's opponent. Just saying. It's a little fun fact. When you're doing your research, you find these fun facts. Miller, Keyshawn, Carrington. I'm waiting for props to drop on method of victory for Carrington against Castro. Frankie Blue Eyes. Baraou versus Xander will be fought in the center of the ring. I'm gonna play you what I like about Baraou, okay? And this is what I'm gonna play you is highlights of Abbas Baraou. And when I was taping him, what gave me hesitation? Just because where he's great at. Okay. So this is where Abbas Baraou wants to fight. The highlight I'm about to play you. This is what he does really well. Combination punching, working levels from body up top, swarming right here. This is the fight he wants. This is the fight he wants. And what a lot of us were kind of shocked is the fact that Yannis Tejas didn't look. He's just moving in back. He's just moving in straight lines. Find an angle, Tejas. Find an angle. Use your lateral footwork. Circle left, circle right. Granted, that was late, and that was an outcome of a pillar-to-post, belt-to-ass performance. And it really highlighted the fact that Tejas was, you know, didn't have a lot of gears. Maybe, you know, who knows? I don't know him personally. Maybe he had a bad night, a bad weight cut, whatever. But he didn't have a lot of gears. The one thing we do know, though, this is how Baraou fights. This is the exact fight he wants to fight. Now, I don't think he's going to be able to get away with this against Xander. I think Xander's jab, I think Xander's length, I think his size, I think his fight IQ, his overall skill. The one thing Xander does really well that you can't find on a stat is he controls range. There's certain things about boxers which separates boxers from good, from average good to world level to champion to great is a lot of times things you can't measure. One of those things is being able to control range, being able to control distance with a jab or with timing or with counters or with your footwork. Xander does that with his jab and he does that with his angles. You know, boom, 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 angle, boom. Now the fight's happening here. Why do they call the ring? Why do they call the ring the squared circle? This is just free game for you. They call the ring the squared circle because simple mathematics, 4 90-degree angles, 4 corners in a ring, right? 4 corners in a ring, 4 90-degree angles. 90 times 4 is 360. The circumference of a circle is 360 degrees. Fighters who are very visceral, that's why the corner's there. They fight and they train those angles for that. All right, I'm here on this angle. Let me out angle him. Let me get his back. Xander fights this way. He's super high fight IQ. It's not just, turn the switch on and you just go fight. That's not what Xander does. Sometimes I think Baraou, when I'm watching it, Baraou tells everybody what he wants to do. We know what he wants to do. Xander knows what he's going to want to do. I think it should be fun. I think Xander will oblige him until he doesn't like it. And, it's going to be a firefight. Let's look at Xander. Now, this is a kid, I don't know if this is going to play any highlights, but this is a kid that's been sort of molded. He's been sort of prepped. We know about Top Rank. It's literally a thing for the bettors. Boxing gamblers know when there's Top Rank cards, the percentage of A-sides who win on Top Rank cards, it's a real thing. It's literally a pattern of behavior that any boxing bettor could attest to what I'm saying. I reference that to say Xander's the A-side, Xander's the Top Rank guy. Top Rank moves their fighters in a specific way. They're known for their matchmaking. They saw something. This is a unification fight. That is amazing as well for a 23-year-old who is the WBO champion. Baraou is the WBA champion. What do we want? Guys, 3 of the 4 world champions at 54 are fighting this weekend, and people are trying to say boxing is dead. Get the hell out of here. I'm so old. After hearing the song on Shadow Stevens' Billboard radio show, I actually ordered the Jodeci single on VH. Bro, you know what I'm... Come and talk to me. Dude, Jodeci's one of my favorite. You know that, though. I know guys who personally train with Kingsley. He's getting touched too much in sparring. I think Big Baby might just... Yeah, so you're talking about Bay Kingsley. So this is the take. Let's pull up the odds. I appreciate the insights, too, because if you guys watch Tommy and Paulie Malignaggi, Tommy Randone, I'm buddies with both guys. If you're new to the channel, you'll see both guys on my channel. Tommy was on last week. Paulie's coming on for the Mario Barrios, Ryan Garcia card. We'll be breaking it down together. But Tommy said the same thing. Tommy said that he's waiting for props to drop on the Big Baby stoppage. Look at LMZZ already dropping insider info, mate. You'll fit right in with the boys. Yeah, no props yet. No props yet, but I've been told to keep an eye on it, so I appreciate the insights. Batias lost in Puerto Rico versus Paro, so I don't know, man. Yeah, so this is a thing. This is a very interesting point, and it's something that I wasn't aware of. I didn't know that the way... All right, let me ask you this. Who's the bigger star in Puerto Rico? Xander Zayas or Subriel Matias? We know the answer. I didn't know it was because of... I was told by the chat that Subriel is Subriel half Dominican and half Puerto Rican, and like because of that, the island, or maybe words he had said in the past, something about that. But I guess when you're looking at a home island advantage, I don't think it's right to compare if there is a home island advantage to compare Xander versus Subriel. I'd assume if you had to compare who would get the advantage by like home cooking, it'd be Xander. Am I wrong with that? Let me know. Zayas will win the fight even if he doesn't. Bad Bunny is invested in Zayas' move to the political advantage. Bad Bunny. I remember when I went to the last time I went to the Dominican. This would have been in 2019, and Este Bien had just hit the streets. Bad Bunny's first song when he was like literally still a cab driver. He was like a driving taxi, and he had that song. It's one of my favorites. It was banging everywhere. We were going to all these massive night. If you've ever been to the DR, they have these like massive nightclubs, mate. Dodgy as all hell, sketchy as hell, but fun. And that was the first time I heard of Bad Bunny. They were blaring Bad Bunny, and then they were blaring Cardi B at the time. Cardi. They sparred a lot together, apparently. What's up, Will? I think it should be a distance fight, Xander. Yeah, after the tape, and since my money's already in, I like Xander on points. I think Xander could cruise to an 8-4. I like 8-4. I like Xander on points. Johnny, it's cool. All the haters be quiet. GK, they're gonna hate regardless, brother. They're gonna we like the last thing we ever want is for them to be quiet. So I think what we're doing here is a good thing. You know, we're developing our little JSB little crew. We have people making meme pages about us, which is great. People are talking shit about us on Twitter. We don't even got Twitter, which is great. But even if we win, we're gonna get clowned. So I think we're always still good. Still good. 44. There will be a day that we all eat on Zayas loss, but it won't be this weekend. Yeah. And I'm not. He's only 23. You know what I mean? The style. It's not a very. This isn't a knock on him. It's not like an electric, fan-friendly. He's not a knockout artist. He's not a defensive savant. He just does everything really well. That's why boxing is such a beautiful sport. He's a really, really good boxer, and he ticks a lot of boxes as well outside of the ring. These things sort of matter. And from everything I've heard, he's like a really nice kid. He does a lot with the community. He's bilingual, which helps with his marketability internationally. He looks the way he looks. He's always in shape. He's married to the game. I've heard him talk about old golden era boxers before, so he watches the sport. He's a historian of the sport. And I think when you put all that together, that's kind of part of why people are sort of, they adhere to sort of how he's operating. He's the sort of guy you would have your son cheer for. If you have a little son, you get him into boxing, watch Xander's eyes. Watch what he does. Watch how he throws that jab. Watch how he throws his backhand. You see how he angled there? And then you'd be like, he's doing a strength and conditioning day today. Watch him deadlifting. So he ticks all these boxes. Bachram signed with Aegis Kilman, same team as Usyk, Kovalev, and Loma. Yeah, I don't know if that pen isn't going to help him getting outboxed on the weekend, though. I don't see him losing in PR. Neither do I. What's up, Mr. Reed? Legend? Looking classy as usual. Damian Rochester, I just recently came across. Yeah, Australia. Born and raised in America. I moved to Australia in 2013. I became a resident in 2015, and I live in Sydney. So if you just came to the channel, I say welcome. I do live streams every day. We have a professional betting Discord. You can click the link that's pinned in the bio. It's a couple bucks a month. And I do breakdown analysis and predictions. Check out my fight predictions playlist. The Stats Don't Lie videos. Those would be the edited ones. But Damien, appreciate your support, brother. Sydney, Australia. Zayas' feet can't dance all night. You think he's... See, I would be hesitant to say that he would be running from Baraou. I think what Zayas can do is use his jab, use it to control range, find his angles, pick his spots. He can be select. I wish Baraou was a bit more selective. Baraou sometimes goes right into airplane mode and gets his combos in, and he's doing what he's doing. You could time that. I think this style matchup is going to work into Xander Zayas' favor, believe it or not. with how he works the body, how he comes up top, he leans in, he'll angle. He does a lot of nice work in the pocket, and then he'll exit. If he doesn't like somewhere like where the fight's taking place, he's not going to pull a Yanis Tejas and just stand there. He's going to use a ring. What does that tell you? That tells you a kid who's super disciplined, who's drilled that. These are patterns of behavior, part of his sort of movement patterns that he's been drilling since a kid. Go inside, get past the jab, body, angle, boom, look for that. Up hook up top, come in, lean in, exit, boom, boom, use the ring, circle right, circle. He does all that really well at only 23 years old. We're only going to see him getting better at that stuff. And it's why he's excited. I love watching him box. If you like boxing, it's not called knockout. If you like a young boxer, up until Abdullah Mason beat Sam Noakes, he was the youngest world champion. Xander Zayas ticks all the boxes for me. How much better does the Australian betting do it? So easy to understand. How much? I love it in Australia. How do you watch this fight? There's a lot of fights, David. I don't even know how. Down here lately in Australia, we've been getting screwed with the top rank cards. So, if anything, in our Discord, some of our moderators will stream the fights in our Discord. So that's another benefit of joining the Discord. We stream the fights in the Discord. You could watch them. Mosby, do we have Tubi though? Mosby, are you an Aussie? Oh no, you. I don't think we have Tubi here. I favor Zayas in this fight, but I'm not betting on him. Fair enough. Fair enough. Guys, the smartest bet you could ever make is the one you don't make. So, save your money. This isn't. I'm not trying to create degenerates here. This is for the love of the game. This is boxing first. The betting came. The betting came after. Look at all my older videos. This was always boxing first, and then the betting came after. So, you don't have to bet. That's the best bet you can make is not betting. I'll be doing the Shakur Teo fight, but my dad hates pay-per-view, so I want to help my dad find that fight. Okay. If I could find a link, I'll send it to you on Instagram, Dave. Both Brian and Elijah Flores. Yes, Brian. So that Elijah Flores fight, I got asked about twice today, so that's a sign that we got to talk about it. I can't wait till Francois Scarborough steps up. This is the dude I really like. He's a fun prospect, fights on Pro Box. We've seen him a couple times. They're moving him appropriately. You know, he's a big, massive favorite. But if he keeps winning and keeps performing, he's going to get a step up. Elijah Flores, that's a 50-50 fight. Tangi Teasley, that's a tough fight, Tangi Teasley. And then you said Brian Flores versus Castillo. Yeah, I'm taking the dog there. I'm taking the dog there. I think the Flores-Castillo fight is also another 50-50 fight. We know these Pro Box cards as of late, especially the main events. I like the distance in this fight. When we could get props, I do have Castillo on a dog parlay. I put Castillo and another dog together on a 2-leg. I put that up in the Patreon. It pays plus 550 on the money line. But if you're kind of torn, I see this fight going the distance. So whenever you could get props, wherever your book is, Flores versus Castillo, take the over, take the distance if you don't want to pick a winner. The best thing about Pro Box boxing, two good things. All their fights are free on YouTube, and they're always 50-50 fights. And, Coach Garcia is part of it. Chris Algieri's part of it, Paulie. So great for boxing. Go follow those guys on YouTube. This is a barn burner, though. Money Meats, we're working, baby. We're out here digging in. We got the boots in the mud. We are digging in. All right, I'm glad you brought this fight up. So before you brought this up, I was just going to say, I think I'm the only guy who's watched too much tape on the William Skull versus, this is William Skull versus Jacob Bank fight. All right, I'll talk about this fight. I've done film on both guys. I just don't think I'm going to be able to get to a Stats Don't Lie video. So I'll break it down in short right now for you guys. All right. So Jacob Bank, Danish. This fight is obviously William Skull's first fight That was crazy. Are you guys still there? My shit just crashed. So give me a second. I'm going to bring up the, I was talking about Jacob Bank and all right, here we go. That was insane. All my power just went out and then it came back on. Let me know if we're back. Before I continue, let me know if we're back. Because I'm about to go on a rant about Jacob Bank and William Skull. You guys, are we good or no? Put a 1 if we're good. It says that I'm back, but let me see if the chat, we're back. Okay, what's up, Bum Equipment? All right, so here we go. I just got done watching as much tape as I could on Jacob Bank. It's really hard to find full fights on him, right? He fought against Tyron Zierge in this sort of like regular world title. It wasn't a full world title. And he's an undefeated guy. He's a young dude. He's been brought up and he's being promoted by his people in Denmark. He's an athletic guy. He's one of these guys who likes to have his hands down, pop in and out of the pocket, and use his athleticism and explosivity to win fights. 17-0. I think what, maybe 9 knockouts. William Skull, first fight since Canelo. Skull, look, you guys are gonna trash him. The international boxing media trashed him for the Canelo fight, but I didn't. I thought he fought Canelo exactly how he wanted to fight Canelo. This is a guy in William Skull with over 400 amateur fights. This is a guy who went into that fight, earned the right to fight for that was for undisputed, right? At the time, Canelo had all the belts at 68. You don't just get there by fluke. And Canelo didn't do anything to win that fight. Granted, Skull was on his bike the entire time. Here's the difference. Jacob Bank is going to be in his grill. Jacob Bank is going to be on the front foot. It's not going to be like Canelo waiting back, trying to mitigate trying to mitigate opportunities of getting touched. That's not what Jacob Bank fights like. That's not how he fights. He's going to put himself in the wheelhouse. And I like Skull on the money line. I think we're going to see a class difference, a level separation. The Cubans haven't been doing that well lately, though, boys. You know, we just saw Andy Cruz in a close fight. The Cubans need one. Who would have thought that William Skull is Cuban's next chance to say we up? I think William Skull could erase all that negativity chatter in a Canelo fight that I thought, he could have been more offensively minded, but good feet, use the ring skill, defensive fighter. He's a big dude, too, I should mention. He's a big boy. He's going to have the size advantage. I like Skull on the money line, and I like Skull on points at 245. Look, so that's Skull on points. So I'm about 90% sure that I'm going to go my method of victory parlay. I like Shakur on points. I don't know if I posted this yet for the boys in the Patreon. I put it in though, so I'm gonna post this after the live stream. I already have my 2-leg parlay. It's a 2-leg method victory parlay. It's it pays nice plus money too. It's Xander on points and Shakur on points. So Xander on points. And if you put Shakur on points as well, this is on a separate ticket. You know, just put these two fights on the same ticket, depending on your bankroll. I don't know what your bankroll is. I don't know what your unit is. Go full unit. Shakur on points $156, and we're at plus money here. I mean, when we're talking about mitigating risk, so there you go. I really like this 2-leg parlay. I've already put it in. I haven't shared it yet with Patreon, but I'm sharing it with you guys. 100 on Shakur and Xander on points is plus 123. I don't see Baraou getting stopped. I don't see Teo getting stopped. And I can see both guys winning these on points. Cruising, too. Shishkin. The Vladimir Shishkin fight. Is Skull a 10-rounder? 2 of the judges in Bank for Skull are from Denmark. You only need 2 judges to win. Yeah, but Skull's technically from Germany. He reps Germany, doesn't he? I know he's a Cuban Olympian, but doesn't he walk out with the German flag? Or am I tripping? Or am I getting mixed up with him and Baraou? I watch too much Dave. I don't think the judges are going to matter, guys. I think William Skull is going to be a level above. Why does William Skull... You guys ever see... Never mind. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. Yeah, he lives in Germany. I could have swore I was watching his tape. In one of his fights, he came out with a German flag. I know Germany's not Denmark, and Cuba's definitely not Germany. But now he is ranked, I think, in the WBO as number 7, and then I think Jacob Bank is ranked 12, something along those lines. I want to play. Let me share something with you boys. I'm gonna share you a write up, tape study notes real quick. All right, I'm gonna read you these notes. Let me know what you think of these. Okay, so this is the Jacob Bank versus William Skull breakdown. Okay, I'm gonna remove my big ass head, and then wrong button, and then we're gonna read these together. Jacob Bank 17-0 with 9 wins, coming inside the distance. Is a very tough fight ahead of him when he takes on Cuban-born William Skull on January 26th. Jacob has looked very impressive in his last few fights, especially in his last outing when he stopped Tyron Zeuge in 5 rounds. Zeuge was coming off a nice win over unbeaten Serhat Parlak, and I personally thought that Zeuge would put up more resistance against Bank, but he did not look good in the fight and seemed to have a problem with his leg after the 4th round where he fell down. From that moment on, he looked like a man with a wooden leg. He was also starting to take a bad beating from Bank, and he looked done. Zeuge's face was all swollen and marked up. The referee had no choice but to jump in and save Zeuge from more punishment. What I do like about Jacob Bank is that it's easy to see that he feels naturally strong and he punches hard. He seems to punch hard in the way where all the shots are thudding and powerful, more so than snappy electric shots that some fighters have. One is not better than the other. The power is just delivered in a different way. His athletic and fitness ability looks very high, and he also has foot speed to go along with his other attributes. In his most recent fight against Zeuge, he was circling around Zeuge beautifully, sometimes off the back foot, but coming back with hard, accurate counters, connecting big on Zeuge. Guys, you can't find that full fight anywhere, by the way. You can find highlights on YouTube. I was surprised to read that Jacob Bank would be taking on such a tough challenge and facing a very experienced and good fighter like William Skull at this stage of his career. It is not only the fact that Bank is young at 24 years of age, especially in America, 24 years of age, that would make me hesitate in putting him in with William Skull, because some fighters at that age, especially in America, are very developed and gets their first title shot around that age. We just saw Abdullah Mason become the youngest champion in boxing at the age of 21. Here's the problem for Bank. The problem for Bank in this fight, as I see it, is the fact that he hasn't had the right fights yet to prepare him to face someone of Skull's caliber. This is not to say that Banks isn't talented enough to beat someone like Skull. Maybe yes, maybe no, but more often so, that he doesn't have the right kind of experience to handle all the nuances that Skull will show him. And this is the 400 amateur fights I'm talking about. People try to disregard the amateur experience, but it's in how you move that fight. I'll leave this link. I'm going to put this link in the chat if you guys want to read it. That's not the link. If you guys want to do your own research, and you want to read this whole, this guy does a really good job. And that, if you want to read the whole breakdown, it's right there. An error occurred. This usually temporarily. Wait a moment to try again. We're gonna move on. But this guy that sent me that, I get people send me stuff all the time. He made a lot of sense. I watched some tape on Bank, and I think it's really gonna come down to the class, the levels of Skull. Check out Kelly Bach footage I put together in the Discord. All right, I'll bring it up. Shout out to GK. GK, what's your name in the Discord? Are you Power? I don't think Teo could hurt him. I don't think Teo could hurt him. I got Teo. I don't think Teo will have enough. I don't think Teo has. Teo struggles fighting off of his back foot. Teo sort of. I don't see him scoring more points than Shakur, man. Shakur is really. I think Shakur is that guy. I think Shakur's speed, his jab, his time, the timing. Timing is key here. It's not just Shakur. Teo's explosive, strong, slightly bigger, more athletic. I always talk about my favorite thing about Teofimo is his adaptability. When you watch him fight against every other style, not many guys can do what he does. He adapts to each style. The problem with trying to adapt against a style like Shakur is that Shakur just isn't a slick southpaw fighting with a Philly shell trying to counter you and catch and counter. Shakur, his timing is world class. You can't adapt to timing. Timing will trump power. I don't think Teo's power will hurt Shakur. Carlos Sanchez. I don't think he'll have to fight off his back. Okay. He has a path to victory. I like both guys. I'm not trying to diminish your bet here either. The last thing I ever want to do is try to talk you guys out of your bet because both guys are world champions for a reason. This is, the 135 guy coming up to 140 to fight the 140 guy. And so they both have path to victories. GK, what is your name in the Discord? Because I'm seeing. Okay. Your name's GK in the Discord. This cat's crazy.
Teddy, the original shutting it down, good Lord.
No, it's a dude. Some of the funnest tape you could watch is Josh Kelly's tape. I have so much fun when I'm taping Josh Kelly, and it's one of those things that when you're taping Murtazaev, I've been saying it all along, boys. Murtazaev, his tape isn't good. That's the Avanesian fight. Damn, he was young there. Carlos Sanchez, what's up, buddy? I appreciate your support. It's possible Teo can get a robbery. Of course, very negative. Judge's favorite front foot fighting. I want Teo to win, but I can't bet with my heart. Yeah. He seems switched on. I mean, I cheer for both guys. Look, and you guys know me. I'm coming at it from a boxing perspective. I'm just glad we're seeing the two guys fight. The storylines are great with both of these guys. They were both Olympians at the same time. They're both the same age. They both came up through the amateurs together. God, there's footage of when Shakur and Teo were little, hanging out together. One of my favorite things so far of Fight Week was seeing Teofimo's pops running into Shakur's grandpa in his camp in the hotel, and they're chopping it up, but they're doing it in such we grew up together, respectful way. I love it. It's why boxing's the best sport, man. What you talking about, Willis? Shakur gonna outbox Teo. I think so too. I like Shakur on points. I like the over. I like Shakur on the money line, and I like Shakur decision at $1.54. My two favorite method of victory is Shakur on points and Xander Zayas on points. If Shakur's fight is like Shakur versus Dos Santos, the judges might. Yeah, but I mean, we know Shakur was fighting with injured hands. Say what you will about it. We saw, based off of what Shakur said, he had injured hands. Why wouldn't we believe him, considering how he fought against Padley and how he fought against Zepeda? If he would have went out there and did that against a late notice Padley, and then if he would have done the same thing against Zepeda, who had a higher knockout to win ratio than De Los Santos, even though they're two different style of fighters, I would have then said, all right, Shakur was bullshitting. He didn't want to exchange with De Los Santos. But no, that's not what happened. This kid is so talented. Not many fighters in the world are able to use the ring and use his feet to negate somebody's power and still win a fight when their hands are broken like Shakur is. So I really think Shakur is that dude. Like it's one of the most impressive things to see is watching Shakur Stevenson negate Edwin De Los Santos' offense when everybody knew what De Los Santos was trying to do and he couldn't touch him. Like, mate, that's beautiful. If you talk about a savant, I talked about it in my breakdown when, as a young kid boxing in Ohio, in Youngstown, I was the runt. I was very, very young learning how to box, very young. And so being a 7-year-old, an 8-year-old, a 9-year-old growing up in the sport, my favorite fighters, obviously we love the sluggers, we love the big punchers. Who wouldn't? But like, from my perspective, from fighters that I would sort of gravitate to, Pernell Whitaker, Paul Spadafora, Floyd Mayweather, these sort of fighters. Of course I loved, Chico Corrales. Of course I love Arturo Gatti and these sort of guys. But at the same time, watching a defensive wizard being able to negate somebody's offense and not get touched, mate. Shakur Stevenson's that dude. I'm just sorry. I'm sorry. Your boys, come on. We got Jake. We got two Buckeyes. We got Travion. The problem with Travion, they haven't been playing him because Ramadre Stevenson is healthy again. So Travion went from being featured 6 weeks ago to only getting 5 carries last week because Ramadre Stevenson's back. But I am going heavy on Jackson Smith and Jigba. So my prop play, and I'll share it in the Discord. Jackson Smith and Jigba, 5+ catches, 80+ yards, and a touch. Let's go. And we still good. Bro, he's so good. Shakur's so good. Ah, great call. Ivan Calderon. Great call. How do you feel about the Shushu fight? So I haven't spoken about it yet, Rebel. Let's talk about it. GK, thanks for putting those videos up in the Discord, man. These are great, by the way. the Discord be slapping. So why I am a bit really haven't committed to yet to the Carrington fight is because I haven't got props on it yet. I'm high on Shushu though. Castro's going to be a good test for him. I think Carrington's one of these guys who fights up or fights down. I think he's due for a stellar performance. These odds are wide, and and we have the method of victory. Wow. I mean, off jump, the points looks good off jump. Let me see. Let me remind everybody who Carlos Castro is. Okay, Carlos Castro, 30-3. He's been stopped once. Stephen Fulton. He dropped Fulton in round 5, and then he lost to Figueroa and Neary. Damn, that damn Figueroa fight's a weird one to me. This is a good. I mean, these odds seem a bit wide, man. Castro, is he fading? Do we think that Castro is degrading? When did he fight Fulton? So he fought Fulton on the Canelo versus Berlanga undercard. Fulton was dropped in the 5th. I mean, look at those scorecards. 94, 95, 96, 93, 95, 94. This is a tough fight, man. This is a tough fight. Carlos, do you think these odds might be a bit wide? What's your take on this? Anybody have a hot take on Shushu versus Castro? Bro, I'm not arguing that right now. I need to focus a little bit more. The last 4 days I've been focused on the 5 videos I uploaded. I have about 48 hours to get this together. I'm definitely going to be doing an upload and a breakdown. I mean, 6-1 underdog here is super disrespectful. Super disrespectful. I think Castro's live here. I mean, Carrington, if he gets stuck in first gear, I'm a fan of Carrington. I like him. Is this for a full world title? WBC World Featherweight. It's for the vacant. Yeah, so this is for the vacant WBC strap. I mean, when you look at the guys that Castro has mixed it up with, and you look at that resume versus Shushu's, give me a day and I'll let you know. I think that Figueroa stoppage against Castro was bullshit. Here's the chat. Castro on points, Shushu on points. I was thinking over on the rounds. There's the chat. I like it. I think it's going to be, dude, there's so many great fights when this is a world title fight, and it's just flown right under the radar. This is a WBC in a very fun division, 126. Angelo Leo, Rafa Espinoza, Nick Ball, Shushu Carrington, whoever wins this. You guys know how I feel about Rafa. Rafa and Leo are probably my 2 favorite there, but I put Rafa a level above everyone else. One judge had a 115 and 113 for Shakur. The fight was close. If Shakur has a close fight with Teo, I don't agree with if he has. Why would you say if it's close between him and Teo, he loses? I don't know what's the reasoning on that, Julius? What's the reasoning on that? Does anyone agree with Julius here? He says one judge had a 115 and 113 versus Shakur. The fight was close. If Shakur has a close fight with Teo, he loses. The fight is in, New York. Shakur's a Newark kid right over the bridge. Teo claims New York. Some people would argue that. You're going. Damn, man, you lucky. This is me quoting Ice Cube in Friday. Man, you lucky. I don't like these odds, mate. This is another one of those odds where it's like I almost feel obliged to sprinkle something on Castro just because of the odds. You know what I mean? Just because of these odds at plus 575. Do you guys see Shushu running away with this? It has me perturbed. Guys, could you like this video? We're over an hour in. We're floating between 40 and 60 in the live. Make sure you join the Discord. Johnny says boxing. We're growing. We just surpassed 350 insiders. Our Patreon's growing. We launched a Patreon last month. What's up, Bum? This is a hell of a... Mate, there's so many fights, though, bro. I'm actually getting a little bit anxious. Who's winning the Cavs game? Anybody got a Cavs versus Lakers score for me? The only thing he can hit, Trey player, only thing can he hit Shushu. Shushu's still good. Shushu's still good. I think he is too. I think Shushu's still good. The first time I paid for box, I went to all the box spots. Still good. Shushu's from New York. Yeah, he's from Isn't he from Brownsville? Shushu's literally from the same neighborhood. I think of like Shannon the Cannon, Mike Tyson. Brownsville, New York. New York, New York. Hey, thanks, Jay Forhey. Appreciate you. Cleveland, we up. Hopefully they can hold on to a lead. With LeBron back in Cleveland. PR making a comeback. Puerto Rico. I love Puerto Rico. Thank you, Mr. Reed. Thank you, Voorhees, for the score. Xander fight over 10.5. I like it. Keyshawn fight over 10.5. And shoot. We don't even have to pick winners now. We don't even have to pick winners now. I like Xander over Keyshawn. Keyshawn versus Jermaine. No one's even talked about this fight. I gave you guys my prediction on this fight. I think Keyshawn's going to try to make a statement, guys. Jermaine's tough as nails. Jermaine's literally only 2 losses or 2 decisions to Loma and Teofimo. He does have a draw. He got dropped against Joseph Adorno in a draw back in 2021 to the body. So we know how aggressive Keyshawn could be in the pocket. I like a knockdown prop. I think Keyshawn drops Ortiz. I'm not saying he's going to knock him out, but I do like a knockdown prop. I could see Keyshawn cooking in the pocket, that vicious body work. We agree. We agree. That's why I didn't say. That's why this whole live stream, you didn't hear me say Keyshawn on points. I didn't say that once, because I'm like, I'm about to pull that trigger. You know when you get that itchy finger, you're about to pull the trigger. That's what I'm leaning. I'm leaning Keyshawn at least because I'm a Jermaine Ortiz fan. So in my head, partially to respect Ortiz, I might just play the knockdown. Let's see what that pays. Let's see what one knockdown pays. I think the 5 pounds is going to be good for Keyshawn, by the way, too. We see how wide his frame is. Okay, sports bets. Yo. Oh. Prop of the week. Jermaine Ortiz to be knocked down, $1.85. That's an 85% return. Keyshawn total knockdowns, 1. Yeah, so why not just do, it's weird. Keyshawn total knockdowns, 1. Jermaine Ortiz to be knocked down. You get an extra 2 cents. Look at the bookies trying to be shady here. I like that prop a lot. I'm probably going to play that. Huge fan of Ortiz. Me too, man. I'm a fan of Ortiz. I like how he operates. I like his style. I like I talk about him all the time on the channel. He is, the thing about Jermaine is this recent version of him, 3-0 since the Teofimo loss. Since that Teo loss, he has turned the pressure up on his offense. He has become a little bit more offensive-minded. Now, that could come back to haunt him against Keyshawn. Punching with Keyshawn, that bang, that I love when he here and he digs there and comes out here. This is another fight. It took me an hour and 12 minutes into this live stream. There are so many fights this weekend. It took us an hour and 12 minutes to even bring up Keyshawn versus Ortiz, which is insane. Keyshawn versus Ortiz on a normal weekend would be a main event. He might get the stoppage. I'm going to do a small gamble. Let's do it, Armin. Armin, let's do it. All the 50-50 fights are over. That's how you save your parlay. Yeah, I like I think all the pro box fights, a lot of the pro box fights, at least the major 2 I'm liking to go the distance based on stats. Teo is a boxer puncher, not a Mexican style kung fu fighter. Common. Oh, you're talking about, yeah. Teo, he doesn't like, I don't think, Teo's greatest attribute is being able to adapt. I say it all the time. I see him struggling actually punching, backing up, throwing. He's kind of selective, especially if he's going backwards. He kind of could get caught in this sort of habit of just one and done in two. Super athletic, super gifted. I mean, I could see Shakur winning an easy decision. I'm live betting Teo. I think the fight to live bet. You guys know who my dog of the week is, right? I gave it to everybody. People were sharing it on Twitter. There's two. I have Josh Kelly on the money line beating Murtazaev, but I think that is going to be a perfect live betting fight as well, especially if you guys think that Kelly will lose. I could see Kelly jumping out to like a 3-1 lead going into the fifth. The odds will probably be here. And for all you Murtazaev fans, buy there. I don't think it'll happen. I think Josh wins a points decision against Murtazaev. Keyshawn and Bakr most dominant favorites this week. I would say, believe it or not, based on matchups, I think Jerome Big Baby Miller is more of a dominant favorite against eBay than Bakram is against Josh. eBay lost to a baseball player. Keyshawn over 10. Yeah, I'm going to play it. I like that knockdown prop. Kelly won't be able to move around Bach like did Davies. Why wouldn't he be? But you act like Bakram is this like super elite, athletically gifted guy. There's nothing in Bakram's tape that looks that great. 33 years old, 6 fights in 6 years, hasn't fought in 500 days, went life and death with 5'2" Jack Colque, almost got stopped, was down on the cards. You guys might be shocked what Kelly does to that man. I think Kelly boxed his ears off. You know who I'm taking. Teo and Shakur over on rounds. Shakur boring. Davis over rounds. Xander. I like Shakur. I like Shakur and Teo on the over. I like Xander to win. I like Skull to win. And then you threw the UFC in there. Saint Denis to win over Ruffy. I haven't got to the UFC yet, but I don't mind these picks, Nathan. Get out of here. What do you mean? Commentating? Like guest commentating? I don't mind it. I mean the winner fights Devin. It's about time. I don't mind. I don't hate it. And I won money on Justin. Nice, man. Good call. To beat Patty. Yeah, that's of the 10. I did 10 picks last weekend on my 10-leg UFC parlay. I went 8 out of 10. The 2 I lost on the long parlay, I lost Patty. And then I took Patty to beat Justin. And then there was someone else. Yeah. 80%. Hope you've been good. I ain't been on. Yeah, it's good to hear you. Good to see you guys. I'm going to get back to work. You guys are the best.